chat box if you are able to see the presentation screen. Fine. Thank you. So we shall start our session now. In the last lecture, we were discussing about software development process model, and we discussed about waterfall model. I hope you have gone through it once again. So as we discussed, waterfall model is a kind of model where the software development process is divided into various phases. Starting from first phase is requirement phase, then comes design, then comes implementation, then comes verification, and last it is maintenance. In requirement phase, customers communication takes place. Developer tries to get an idea about what kind of software is needed by customer. Once the requirements are understood by developer starts designing the software. In the phase of designing, software designs are prepared. Software designs like flowcharts, algorithms, database normalization, and database structures. All these things are designed. Even the screen input-output designs are created. Then comes the implementation phase where actual coding takes place, programming takes place. Developers write the program according to the flowcharts and algorithms that are prepared in design phase. Then comes the verification phase, that is called testing, where software is being tested to check whether there is any or not. And once the software is completely tested, it is ready to deliver. It has been delivered and deployed on the customer site, on customer's computer, customer's network, or maybe also sometimes onto the web hosting websites. And then customer starts using it. So when customer starts using it, the development life cycle is into maintenance phase, where whenever customer wants any changes in the software, customer once again contacts developer and ask about the changes. Maybe something new is to be added, something old is to be removed or is to be modified. So all those changes are done by developer when software is in use by the customer, and that is called maintenance. Now this is called a waterfall model because, as we discussed last time, from one phase you can move to next phase and so on. But we cannot go back, just like waterfall. Right. In waterfall, water cannot go back. It starts from the top and it keeps falling down and down and down. Right. Same way, here from requirement phase, we can move to design phase to implementation, implementation to verification, and verification to maintenance. But at any phase, we cannot go back. Now, when we need to go back, say for example, we are writing code, we are into implementation phase, and we find that some algorithm is wrong. Now, algorithm was designed into design phase. It means we need to go back into design phase to correct it. But this model doesn't allow that. What it says, you complete a phase first and then switch over to next phase. It means once you complete the analysis, then and then only go to design. Once you complete design, then and then only go to implementation. When it says that, it assumes that activity at a particular phase are complete and are correct. So it doesn't allow you to move back, go back to the previous phases. So there are some weaknesses and some strengths of this model. So we shall see, or we shall revise that. We already discussed this in the last lecture. We shall quickly go through it. What are the strengths? The model is very easy to understand. If you see the phases of software development, they are linearly organized. sequentially organized. First, you carry out analysis, requirement analysis, then you carry out design, then you carry out implementation, then you carry out verification, and then you carry out maintenance. Sequential activities are there. So it is very easy to understand and very easy to use. Provide structure to inexperienced staff. Those people who are not very much experienced with software development process, they can easily follow this model and can go through the software development. It doesn't require much skill if you follow this model. Milestones are well understood. At every phase, the output is clearly defined. After requirement analysis phase, the output of that phase will be the customer requirements, a document that specifies customer requirements. So at every phase, design phase, there will be design document which includes flowcharts, algorithms, database structures, input, output screens, and so many other things. Implementation phase, at the implementation phase, you will have a source code programs as your output. At the design phase, testing phase, test is your output. Every phase, your milestones are defined, your output is defined. So when you achieve that milestone, when you get that output, you believe that that phase is over. Now you are ready to move to the next phase. Right? It also says that once the requirement phase is over, you need to switch over to design phase. You cannot go back to requirement phase. What happens then? Requirement phase is over. It means all the requirements of the customer are collected. They are fixed. Now there won't be any possibility of any changes in the customer requirement. This is a very common problem that the industry faces. Customer keeps changing the requirement. Customer will say today the software should do X, Y, Z things. 2 days after, once again, if you communicate with customer will say instead of X, Y, Z, I want ABC. Customer keeps changing, and when customer keeps changing the requirement, your design will keep changing. You will not be able to actually start your programs because you don't know what is actually to be done. But this model says that your requirements are to be frozen down at initial stage. Once the requirements are frozen, they cannot be changed by customer. And once the requirements are frozen, you can design it properly, you can write appropriate code. Requirements are not frozen, it will keep changing, the design will keep changing, you will not be able to write the code. So this is also an advantage of this model, waterfall model. This model is good for management control. People can easily manage this model. Different teams can be there. For requirement analysis, there is a separate team of people. For designing, there is a separate team of people. For coding, there is a separate team of people. There are a separate team of testers also. Managing them becomes easier. Planning their activity becomes easier because the model is quite simple. This model works well when quality is more important than cost or schedule. Definitely, if you follow this model, it will take more time to development. It may incur more cost into development, but it will achieve good quality. So this is the advantage. This is also a strength of this model. Besides this strength, there are so many weaknesses also, called deficiencies. First of the deficiencies is that all requirements must be known right at the beginning. Now, many cases, requirements are not known at early stages of the software development. In many cases, customer wants a software to perform certain activities, but how it can be performed, customer doesn't know, even developer doesn't know. So it means requirements are not frozen. Requirements are not clear. If that is the case, you cannot move to design phase. It means your development cannot move ahead. You will be stuck up at the analysis or requirement phase only. The requirements are not clear. What can happen is, if suppose out of 10 requirements, 5 requirements are known, 5 requirements are unknown, or you don't have any idea about how to implement it, how it will be done, how customer wants it. So what you can do is, for 5 requirements, you can start designing. And for remaining 5 requirements, you can keep searching onto the clarity about it. Right? But this model doesn't allow that. What this model says that first complete all the requirements, and then only you can start the design. So you'll be stuck up in the project progress. You will not be able to move ahead once until the requirements are clear, until the requirements are frozen. So there will be so many blocking states. Say for example, you are in designs, 10 modules you have defined, 10 algorithms you have prepared, you are working on to some 11, 12 algorithm, and you are not able to find a solution. Now practically what should be done? For those 10 algorithms, you should start writing your programs. And for those remaining 2 algorithms which you don't have solution, you keep trying and solve that problem to come out with the algorithm. So it means programming should go in parallel. For certain algorithms which are already designed, you should start writing the program, but at the same time, those algorithms which are not yet been designed, you keep solving them, keep creating them. So you are into design phase as well as you are into programming phase. 2 phases are going simultaneously. And that is a very practical thing. But this model says that finish of all the designs, then and then only. It means those 10 algorithms which are ready, you cannot start its programming because the remaining 2 algorithms are not complete yet. Right. It may be the case you will not be able to find the solution to that. Then what will happen? You will not be able to move to the coding phase. आप coding phase में जा ही नहीं सकते हो, आपका software कभी develop ही नहीं होगा. What is actually the scenario? 10 algorithms are clearly defined, 2 algorithms have problems. You should be able to write 10 programs of the software where remaining 2 will be developed later on when the solution is found. But due to the limitation of this waterfall model, you will not be able to start coding. First, you need to finish the design, then and then only you can start coding. So there will be so many blocking states when you follow this model. Right. As I said, deliverables created for each phase are considered frozen. And when they are considered frozen, changes into them are not possible. You cannot go back from the next phase or current phase to its previous phase and modify it. So that's a problem here. It can also give a false impression of progress. It may give an idea that, okay, you are moving ahead in the development life cycle, but where you are not, you are stuck up somewhere. So it may give false impression of progress. And finally, it does not reflect problem-solving nature of software development. In general, what people do so many things simultaneously. Whenever I am talking about software development work, suppose customer has a requirement for the software where the software should do 100 things. Customer is able to explain only 25 at particular point in time initially. So what will happen? You have 25 requirements available from the customer, but you will not be able to start designing because 75 requirements are not yet received. Actually, what should happen? 25 requirements are collected, start designing for them, prepare algorithms for that, start coding also, and meanwhile collect other requirements from the customer. So do certain things simultaneously, parallelly. That is what we practically do, right? So that is a real practice, real world practice, real life practice. But this model doesn't allow us to do that. So it doesn't fit with the real world practices. So sometimes it seems like it's a ideal model, cannot be followed real life, right? So these are strengths and weaknesses of water model. This is one model that we have discussed. Now, those are already joining. Students who are online, those students who are online, any doubt, any confusion or query? Fine. So next model is V-shape SDLC model, also called V and V model. V here means verification and validation. So this is nothing but organizing those major activities of software development lifecycle in V-shape rather than sequential fashion. In waterfall model, we saw that those activities are into linear sequential fashion. And that's why that model is also known as LSM model, linear sequential model. Waterfall model is also known as linear sequential model, LSM, because the activities are organized into linear or sequential fashion. In V-shape model, the activities are organized into V-shape. So you see here, we have phases like requirements, specification and analysis, then designing, architectural design and detail design, then coding, then comes testing. All these three are testings, and then comes maintenance. So activities of software development lifecycle remains same. Requirement gathering analysis, software design, coding or implementation, testing and maintenance. These activities remain same. These will be there in any model that you follow. This is what you need to do in order to develop any software. These 5 activities you need to do. But how you will do it depends upon which model you follow. If you follow waterfall model, you are carrying these activities in linear sequential fashion, one after the another. If you are following V-shape model, you will be carrying out activities in this fashion, V and V. Right? So this is nothing but a variant of waterfall model. Few things are added to waterfall model and it is converted to V-shape model. It focuses on nothing but verification and validation of the product. Product here means the software. Verification means whether we have developed the software in the right way, with the right methods or not. And validation means whether software is correct or not. there is a difference between these two terms, verification and validation. Verifications mean we are checking whether we have developed the software with the right methods, the right tools or not. It talks about our methods and our tools of development of software. Validation talks about whether the software that has been developed is correct or not. Right? So this verification and validation are the core activities in the VSEF model. We will continuously be doing this verification and validation of whatever the activity we do. Right. So for each phase, we will have verification and validation. Each phase means requirement phase, design phase, coding phase, testing phase, and maintenance phase. For each phase, will carry out verification and validation also. Right? Let us understand this model in more detail. So what it says, testing of the product is planned in parallel with corresponding phase of development. For each phase, we shall be carry out verification and validation process. So if we are into requirement analysis and specification phase or project planning phase, once we complete this phase, we shall also prepare method to verify whether it is done properly or not and whether it is correct or not. Right. At the end of every phase, we shall be specifying ways of verification and validation of the activities that we have done in that phase. So once the customer requirements are collected, we shall check, or we can say verify or validate or test whether the customer requirements are correct. Whatever we have understood, customer wanted to say the same thing, or we have misinterpreted it. We have wrongly understood something. It's a cross verification kind of thing. Whatever the requirements we have collected, they are complete or incomplete. Whether everything that the customer has specified is complete or not. Customer may say that this is the billing process. Items are added into the bill, quantities are added, amount is added, and total is calculated, and final amount is calculated at the end of the billing process. Now, whether this process that the customer explained is complete or not, we don't know. We have to cross verify. It may be the case that customer has not specified GST calculation process. It may be the case that customer has not specified discounting process. It may be the case that customer missed out on specifying the delivery charges, right? Installation charges. So we need to check whatever the requirements that have been given by customer are correct, whether they are complete or not. So this is about verifying or verification of validation of requirements in the requirement phase. Same way, when we create design, algorithms, flowcharts, database structures, and input-output screens and everything, we have to once again verify whether they are correct and complete or not. It means you are testing activities of each and every phase. After coding, you are going to perform the testing. And you will be performing various types of testings. You can see here, there will be unit testing, there will be integration testing, there will be system and acceptance testing. So, when various kinds of testings, when you study, you will come to know about what exactly they are. But right now, you just remember this name, that there will be unit testing, which will be testing small units of the software. Small units like functions, classes, forms, or web pages. testing each and every small unit individually is called unit testing. So what it will be actually testing, you will be actually testing your designs, your flowcharts and algorithms, because each flowchart is for one particular function, one particular task. So you are carrying out testing against the detailed design. When you are carrying out integration testing, actually what you are doing is you are clubbing, you are combining, you are integrating two or more modules, classes, functions, web forms, web pages, and then you are testing whether they are working well when they are clubbed together. लॉगिन पेज डिजाइन किया आपने, फॉरगेट पासवर्ड वाला पेज डिजाइन किया, दोनों को इंडिविजुअली टेस्ट किया, बट दोनों को जब साथ में क्लब करेंगे तब वो प्रॉपर्ली वर्क करता है कि नहीं. उसके साथ फिर रजिस्ट्रेशन पेज डिजाइन किया, फिर उसको भी इंटीग्रेट किया. तो अब तीनों को एक साथ में टेस्ट करेंगे, जब तीनों को एक साथ में यूज करते they are working well or not. So you are integrating your modules, clubbing them and carrying out testing whether they are working well when they are clubbed together. So that is actually what you do in designing. You in designing, architectural designing, you prepare the software architecture. But these are the modules, they will be integrated this way when the modules are developed. So you are designing that in design phase, that these modules will be integrated in this fashion. And in integration testing, you will be testing it, whether when they are integrated that way, they are working according to the design or not. So we carry out verification and validation for activities of each phase. And that's why this model is known as V-shape model or V and V model. Right? We have discussed these things earlier also. There is nothing new to discuss. What are the strengths of this V-shape model? It emphasizes planning for verification and validation of the product in early stages. When requirements are collected, at the same time you are defining how will you test the software. Right. When customer says that billing is to be calculated this way, now you have not created the algorithm, you have not created the programs. But before doing that, you will specify that when the billing module is ready, I need to check whether GST is properly calculated or not, whether discounting is properly subtracted from the net amount or not, whether delivery charges are incorporated properly or not, whether online payment is possible or not. So you will be specifying all those testings even before writing the program, even before creating the algorithms and flowcharts. So this model emphasizes planning of verification and validation of the product at early stages, right from the beginning. So when this verification and validation criteria are specified right at the beginning, when these are given to programmer knows that I have to write the code in such a way that all these conditions are met. Right? Otherwise, programmer may forget something, skip something, and ultimately the software may be incomplete one. उसने पूरा बिलिंग कैलकुलेशन कर दिया होगा, लेकिन जीएसटी कैलकुलेशन ऐड करना भूल गया. Right? तो क्या होगा? Customer will not accept the software. Customer will say that the program should calculate the GST. आपको फिर से उसको मॉडिफाई करना पड़ेगा. बट अगर ये चीजें पहले से मेंशन है, तो प्रोग्रामर जब प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहा है, उसको पता है कि उसको XYZ जितनी सारी चीजें प्रोग्राम में पहले से करनी है, क्योंकि वो वहां पर स्पेसिफाई कर दी गई है पहले से वेरिफिकेशन एंड वैलिडेशन के बाद. So that makes program or your product of good quality, even complete, correct, and easily acceptable by customers. And even the management is easy because it is another version of waterfall model only. So the way you manage the waterfall model, this can this model can easily be managed in the same way. No much efforts are required. So project management, project control is easy, and that's why it is easy to use also. So these are the strengths of V-shaped model. Let us see the weaknesses of this V-shaped model. First is it does not easily handle concurrent events. Once again, the same problem of waterfall model. You cannot carry out two activities parallel. Design and coding cannot go simultaneously, or analysis and design cannot go simultaneously. Right. Same is the case here because this is just the modification of waterfall model. So it cannot handle concurrent activities or concurrent events very well. So that is one weakness. Second weakness is it does not handle iterations or phases. We shall see other models where we shall see cyclic nature of development. These both the models that we have seen, waterfall model and V-shaped model, they are linear models. You move into one direction linearly, right? We shall see some models which are cyclic, where activities are repeated. This model doesn't allow repetitions of activities. So when such situation occurs, which is very practical in real life, suppose you are writing some code and you feel that, okay, customer specified something in the time of analysis and you misinterpreted it, you misunderstood it. So you need to go to analysis phase, correct it there. You need to correct the design, and then once again you need to correct your program. So it means you need to go back and repeat analysis, design, coding once again, which is a very real world situation. But this model doesn't allow that cyclic execution of activities. Iterations are not allowed. Repetitions are not allowed. So that is also a weakness. This also doesn't handle dynamic changes in requirements because it also assumes that requirements are frozen at early stages. Requirements cannot be changed later on. It is just another version of waterfall model. This is also kind of weakness. It does not contain risk analysis activities. We shall see a model which specifically focus on to risk analysis, and we shall see why risk analysis is very important. This waterfall model as well as V-shaped model doesn't include risk analysis. That is also a weakness. We shall see why it is a weakness, but we shall see it later on. Okay. So when this model is useful? When systems requiring high reliability. Whenever system requires high reliability, it means you need to check each and every small thing at every stage. Right? Think of a software that is supposed to target some location of enemy via missile tracking or missile guiding software. What kind of reliability that software should have? A small error, 0.000001 kind of value error in calculation at when the missile is being launched may result into, instead of bombarding it onto Lahore, it may bombard it onto Karachi. Because initially it is a very small error, but when it is launched, when it is into space, it will definitely have a different direction. Maybe very minute at initial level, but slowly and gradually it will move into completely different direction. Right? Such a small error can cause a big problem. Total software failure. When high reliability softwares are needed, you need to check everything at every stage. And in that case, V-shaped models are much useful. Right. If the requirements of the software are well known right in advance, then you can definitely follow either waterfall or V-shaped model. If the requirements are not known at early stages, all requirements are not known at the early stages, then waterfall model and V-shaped model are not useful because it doesn't allow you to go back. So when such cases are there where requirements are available right at the beginning of the software development project, all requirements are clear, there is no confusion with it, you can definitely follow either waterfall or V-shaped model. So these are weaknesses of V-shaped model. Now we shall switch to another model. But before moving ahead, let me check whether online students, whether they understood it properly or not. So those who are online, please quickly respond if you have any doubts or queries here. Hello? Okay. Fine. Fine, thank you. So let me move ahead with the third model, also known as prototype model. So the name of the third model is prototyping model. Right. Now let me explain this word prototype first. Excuse me. Hello. Right. So let us try and understand this word prototype. Now you might have seen that before actually creating the building, a small miniature version of the building is created. Right? Model of the building is created. Before actually constructing an aeroplane or aircraft, its small miniature version is created. Right? You might have seen many such models. They are called prototypes. Right? Which may just look like the actual building that will be there or actual aeroplane that will be there in future. They may be working also. It means there may be some small lift put into that model that goes up and down. There will be doors and windows that you can open and close in that model of the building. There may be lights that you can turn on and off. There may be fans also, small miniature versions of those things. Right? So, they are the miniature versions of actual product, final product. They are called prototypes. Right? Same way, in our software industry also, the word prototype means a small working module of the software, which gives idea about how the software, complete software will work in future. One way you can call it a kind of demo of the software. Right? But many times the demos are video demos where you have to just see the video. Here prototype is not a video kind of demo. They are actual softwares, but small limited functionality software. It doesn't have full-fledged complete software, but small version of it. That is called prototype. And the model that we are going to talk is prototyping model is based upon such kind of prototypes. Right? Is this clear? What is prototype? Nothing but a small version of the software with limited functionalities, but still it is working. Okay. Now, first of all, why we need prototype? एक बिल्डिंग बनाने से पहले उसका मिनिएचर वर्जन हम क्यों बनाते हैं? सो बिल्डिंग बनने में तो 4-5 साल लग जाएंगे। उससे पहले कस्टमर जो जिसको वो बिल्डिंग बनाना है, अगर मुझे मेरा बंगलो बनाना है तो वो एक्चुअल कंस्ट्रक्ट होने में 3-4 साल लग जाएंगे। उससे पहले मुझे पता चलना चाहिए कि मेरा बंगलो कैसा दिखेगा। ऐसा नहीं कि 3 साल बाद जब बनेगा तब मैं देखूंगा वो सही है कि नहीं और फिर मैं बोलूंगा कि इसको करेक्ट करो। तो सिविल इंजीनियर्स क्या करेंगे? तो एक मिनिएचर वर्जन मेरे बंगलो का बना कर देंगे मुझे, जिसको मैं पूरी तरह से चेक करूंगा, और मुझे कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन चाहिए तो मैं वहीं पर बोलूंगा मुझे ये सब चीजें चेंज करके दो, मुझे पूजा रूम इस लोकेशन पे नहीं चाहिए, कुछ इस लोकेशन पर चाहिए, या मुझे गार्डन जो है वो गार्डन ये साइज का नहीं चाहिए, बड़ा चाहिए, छोटा चाहिए। सो आई विल गिव माय चेंजेस, और वो सिविल इंजीनियर्स या इंटीरियर डिजाइनर्स या जो भी है आर्किटेक्चर इंजीनियर्स, वो उस मिनिएचर वर्जन में वो चेंजेस करके मुझे दिखाएंगे। राइट। जब मैं अप्रूव करूंगा कि ये सब सही है, उसके बाद एक्चुअल कंस्ट्रक्शन स्टार्ट होगा बिल्डिंग का। राइट। अगर ऐसा नहीं होता है, अगर वो आर्किटेक्चर मुझे वो स्मॉल वर्जन बनाकर नहीं देते हैं और सीधा कंस्ट्रक्शन स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, तो फिर क्या होगा? अगर मैं बोलूंगा कि मुझे गार्डन का साइज चेंज करके दो, छोटा है बड़ा करके दो, तो कैसे करेंगे? वो बंगलो बन गया है, गार्डन बन गया है, अभी उसको गार्डन को बड़ा करना है, बंगलो को तोड़ना पड़ेगा फिर से। ये ना हो इसलिए वो मिनिएचर वर्जन्स पर डिस्कशंस होते हैं कस्टमर और डेवलपर्स के बीच में, और फिर कस्टमर जब कहता है कि ये फाइनल है, उसके बाद एक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट होता है। राइट। अब ऐसी जरूरत कब पड़ती है मिनिएचर वर्जन बनाने की? जब कस्टमर को खुद को पता नहीं कि उसको एग्जैक्टली क्या चाहिए। तो पहले तो बोलेगा मुझे एक बंगलो बना के दो जिसमें 2 फ्लोर्स होने चाहिए, इतने बेडरूम्स होने चाहिए, किचन होना चाहिए, लिविंग रूम होना चाहिए, गार्डन होना चाहिए। वो अपने हिसाब से कुछ चीजें बोल देगा। फिर आप अगर सीधा उसको कंस्ट्रक्शन शुरू कर देंगे तो कस्टमर बाद में बोलेगा मुझे ये नहीं, वो चाहिए, ऐसा चाहिए, वैसा चाहिए। तो आप क्या करते हैं? एक उसके हिसाब से एक छोटा मिनिएचर वर्जन बनाते हैं या पेपर ड्राइंग बनाते हैं, उसको दिखाते हैं। उसमें फिर वो कस्टमर फिर से बोलता है कि नहीं, मुझे कुछ ये इस तरह के चेंजेस चाहिए, और वो बार बार जो भी चेंजेस है आप कस्टमर के साथ डिस्कस करते हैं, आपकी डिजाइन चेंज करते हैं, आपका प्रोटोटाइप चेंज करते हैं। फिर जिस डिजाइन पर कस्टमर फाइनली बोलता है कि ये फाइनल है, उसके ऊपर आपका कंस्ट्रक्शन स्टार्ट होता है। तो ये मिनिएचर वर्जन्स, पेपर प्रोटोटाइप हम क्यों बनाते हैं? कस्टमर की रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्लियर नहीं है, उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्लियरली समझने के लिए, या उसको भी खुद को पता नहीं है उसके पास उसको क्या चाहिए, तो उसके पास से वो चीज क्लियरली आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए हम प्रोटोटाइप्स या मिनिएचर वर्जन्स बनाते हैं, जिसको देखकर वो बोले कि उसको वो चाहिए या कुछ और चाहिए। राइट। So these prototypes are prepared in order to get the clear idea about the customer requirements, where customer is not sure of the requirement. They give corrective feedback, ऐसा नहीं चाहिए, कुछ और चाहिए। Developers further refine the prototype and then give it to customer for once again corrective feedback. So this process keep on repeating, बार बार चल. Standards needed for the final product. So you can see here, आपने इनिशियली कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट कलेक्ट करके डिजाइन करके एक प्रोटोटाइप बनाया, कस्टमर को दिखाया, कस्टमर ने टेस्ट किया, यानी आपने रिक्वायरमेंट कलेक्ट की, डिजाइन किया, कोडिंग किया, टेस्टिंग हुआ, कस्टमर ने करेक्शन दिए, फिर से नई रिक्वायरमेंट्स आई, फिर से नया डिजाइन क्रिएट किया, फिर से कोडिंग किया, फिर से कस्टमर को दिया टेस्टिंग के लिए, कस्टमर ने और चेंजेस सजेस्ट किए, तो नई रिक्वायरमेंट फिर से आई, फिर से नया डिजाइन बनाया, फिर से कोडिंग किया, फिर से कस्टमर को टेस्टिंग के लिए दिया. यू कैन सी द थिंग्स आर रिपीटेड, साइक्लिक, राइट, सर्कुलर लूपिंग फॉर्मेट में ये चलता रहता है. So this is an iterative model which allows repetitions of activities. बार बार आप डिजाइन करते हैं, बार बार आप कोडिंग करते हैं, बार बार आप रिक्वायरमेंट एनालिसिस करते हैं, बार बार टेस्टिंग करते हैं, right? So that's why this model is known as iterative model. पहले के जो दोनों मॉडल थे वो लीनियर मॉडल थे, लीनियर फैशन में एक्टिविटीज करना है, you cannot go back. In iterative model you can repeat the activities as many times as you want to, right? So this is the difference between the prototype model and the previous two models. Previous two models में ये था कि कस्टमर को सारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स पहले से बोल देनी है, बाद में नई रिक्वायरमेंट ऐड नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि बाद में फिर से एनालिसिस फेज पर नहीं जा सकते थे, कस्टमर रिक्वायरमेंट चेंज नहीं कर सकता था उस वो मॉडल्स में. यहाँ पर ये मॉडल ही इसीलिए बना है कि कस्टमर खुद को पता नहीं कि उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, तो बार बार रिपीटेडली उसको पूछ के नए नए डेमोस दिखा करके उसकी एक्चुअल रिक्वायरमेंट हम आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं. तो ये मॉडल उस सिचुएशंस में यूजफुल है, और ये बहुत प्रैक्टिकल सिनारियो है. जनरली 90% ऑफ केसेस में ये सिनारियो होगा, कस्टमर को अपनी सारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स पहले से पता नहीं होगी. तो रियल वर्ल्ड में वाटरफॉल मॉडल यूज करना या वी शेप मॉडल यूज करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है रियल वर्ल्ड में, जबकि प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल बहुत प्रैक्टिकल है, राइट? आपको भी जब अभी आपका सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोजेक्ट बनाने के लिए बोला गया है, यू डोंट हैव क्लियर आइडिया अबाउट कि आपको क्या प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है. यू माइट हैव सम आइडिया अबाउट कि सेल्स का कुछ मॉड्यूल बनाना है या ऑनलाइन बुकिंग का कुछ करना है. यू डोंट नो एग्जैक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट्स. आप क्या करेंगे, कुछ और सॉफ्टवेयर देखेंगे, कुछ डेमोस देखेंगे, राइट? वो डेमो देखकर आपको पता चलेगा कि नहीं मेरे सॉफ्टवेयर मुझे ये भी चाहिए, मुझे वो भी चाहिए. यू कीप रिफाइनिंग योर रिक्वायरमेंट्स. So we practically follow prototype model, right? So this is prototyping model. It's a cyclic in nature, iterative in nature. It allows repetitions of activities. So what it says, software prototypes are repeatedly provided to customer for evaluation and feedback. Primarily, iterate design and implementation. Initial phases पर आपको design और implementation को iterate करना है, और बार बार design और implementation आपके change होंगे according to customer requirements, which keep changing when you give your prototype for feedback to the customer. तो इस तरह से करते करते स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली जब कस्टमर नई चीजें ऐड करने को बोलेगा, आप नया प्रोटोटाइप, नया वर्जन निकालेंगे, और कस्टमर और कुछ ऐड करने को बोलेगा, आप उसका एक नेक्स्ट वर्जन निकालेंगे. स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली आपका पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर बनेगा. पहले बहुत छोटा होगा, फिर नई चीजें ऐड होगी, फिर और चीजें ऐड होगी, और फंक्शनलिटी ऐड होगी, एंड स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली वो बिग कंप्लीट सॉफ्टवेयर बनेगा. आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. ये एग्जांपल दो अलग अलग मॉडल के लिए सूटेबल है. एक ये मॉडल है, प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल. नोटपैड देखा है आप लोगों ने? इट्स अ काइंड ऑफ प्रोटोटाइप. उसका एडवांस वर्जन है वर्डपैड. उसका एडवांस वर्जन है माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड, जो 95, 98 पुराने वर्जन से. स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली नए फीचर्स ऐड करते गए एंड नाउ वी हैव MS Word 16, 17, whatever the version is. तो स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली नई नई रिक्वायरमेंट्स उसके अंदर ऐड होती जाती है. सॉफ्टवेयर ग्रो करते रहता है एंड अल्टीमेटली फाइनल सॉफ्टवेयर बन के आता है. That's why this is also known as evolutionary approach. पहले बहुत छोटा सॉफ्टवेयर होता है, धीरे 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 पूरा इवॉल्व होता है बड़े सॉफ्टवेयर. सॉफ्टवेयर जनरली द सॉफ्टवेयर grows like this. They evolve over the period of time. पहले से बड़ा सॉफ्टवेयर कभी नहीं बनता है. Any software, any big software that you see is initially a small program. Facebook की अगर हम बात करें, Facebook, you know how big it is. Initially it was what? Some hundreds of lines of code written by Mark Zuckerberg to connect to friend of friends. फिर उसमें नए नए फीचर्स ऐड होते गए एंड राइट नाउ वी हैव फेसबुक. तो भी उसमें व्हाट्सएप भी ऐड हो गया है, तो फेसबुक में से आप व्हाट्सएप भी कर सकते हैं. यू कैन सी हाउ द सॉफ्टवेयर ग्रोज, इट इवॉल्व्स ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. कभी भी पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर एक साथ बड़ा सॉफ्टवेयर बनता नहीं है. इट ऑलवेज स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम सम प्रोटोटाइप, स्मॉल प्रोटोटाइप, राइट? What are the steps in this prototyping model? We have already seen it, but now we shall list down properly. So, first, a preliminary project plan is developed. What is to be done? Then, partial high-level paper model is prepared. Algorithms or flowchart or some kind of things. Right. Then, the model, the certain limited requirements, and we convert them into source code programs. तो वो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स को लेकर हम कुछ प्रोग्राम्स बनाते हैं जो इनिशियली हमने कलेक्ट किया है. एंड वो बेसिक, जैसे नोटपैड की बात करें, सो इट शुड हैव अ फीचर ऑफ क्रिएशन ऑफ फाइल, सेविंग अ फाइल, ओपनिंग अ फाइल, टाइपिंग समथिंग इनटू द फाइल एंड सो ऑन. तो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स के साथ हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. क्रिटिकल एट्रीब्यूट्स जो बहुत नेसेसरी है बड़े सॉफ्टवेयर को बनाने के लिए, सबसे बेसिक चीजें चाहिए. सबसे पहले फाइल क्रिएशन होना चाहिए, फाइल ओपन होना चाहिए, फाइल सेव होना चाहिए. वी शुड बी एबल टू टाइप समथिंग इनटू इट. जो टाइप किया वो सेव रहना चाहिए, उसको फिर हम ओपन करके एडिट कर सके, उसको डिलीट कर सके. ये बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है, राइट? तो वो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट को बना लेकर नोटपैड बना. देन पीपल वांटेड मोर फीचर्स इनटू इट. उसमें टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेटिंग होनी चाहिए, लाइन स्पेसिंग एडजस्ट होने चाहिए, बुलेटिंग्स अलाउड होने चाहिए, फॉन्ट्स चेंज की पॉसिबिलिटी चाहिए, कलर फॉन्ट्स अलाउ होने चाहिए. कस्टमर वांटेड न्यू थिंग्स, न्यू फीचर्स आर एडेड. नया वर्जन बन के आया वर्डपैड. Then people wanted tables into it, people wanted graphs into it, people wanted to put picture into it. So slowly and gradually वो evolve होते होते MS Word बन गया, Microsoft Word. Right. So you start with most critical base. अब आप सोचो MS Word बनाना है आपको, आप सब अलाउ करते हैं, टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेटिंग अलाउ करते हैं, टेबल इंक्लूजन अलाउ करते हैं, पिक्चर इंक्लूजन अलाउ करते हैं, सब करते हैं, लेकिन फाइल सेव ही नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. There is no functionality of file saving. उस सॉफ्टवेयर का क्या फायदा? So what is the most critical requirement? You should be able to create the new file. You should be able to save the file. You should be able to open the file. ये सबसे basic requirement है. तो your prototype should start with this basic requirements. and slowly and gradually keep on adding more and more features into it. So after getting those basic requirements, the developer builds database, user interface, and algorithms. Then, based upon this, some small program may be written, and that small program is demonstrated to the customer. इसलिए मैंने word use किया था demo, right? That is demonstrated to the customer. The user evaluates it, finds out if any problem is there, ask for the correction, or may ask for something new requirement or change of requirement into it. So once again, designer will once again create the new database according to the changes, new interface according to the changes, new algorithm according to the changes, and once again new program or program will be modified according to the changes, and this goes on. So this is a life cycle in prototype model. Is it clear? So what is the advantage of this model? What are the strengths of this model? If we see, say for example, in the waterfall model, customer has given you the requirement, and for communicating that requirement, you were communicating with customer for 1 month, say for example. 1 month तक आपने customer के साथ discuss किया, उसकी सारी requirements collect कर ली, उसको software में क्या क्या चाहिए, and then you start designing, coding, testing, everything. That took you 1 year. What was the scenario in waterfall model? कि पहले 1 महीने के लिए आप कस्टमर के साथ कम्युनिकेशन में थे, रिक्वायरमेंट एनालिसिस फेज ओवर हो गया, जब से डिजाइन फेज स्टार्ट हुआ, कोडिंग फेज स्टार्ट हुआ, उसमें कस्टमर की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, कस्टमर किसी भी एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, तो 1 साल तक कस्टमर आपसे डिटैच होगा. पहले 1 महीने आपके साथ कम्युनिकेशन में रहा, फिर 1 साल आपके साथ डिटैच रहेगा. उसको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि क्या चल रहा है सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में, बिकॉज ही इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व. सॉफ्टवेयर डिजाइन करना है, एल्गोरिथम बनाना है, तो कस्टमर इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व. कस्टमर थोड़ी बैठेगा आपके साथ एल्गोरिथम बनाने के लिए. प्रोग्रामिंग कर रहे हैं तो कस्टमर आपके साथ नहीं बैठने वाला है. कस्टमर इज नॉट देयर फॉर 1 ईयर. कस्टमर को खुद को पता नहीं चल रहा है कि उसका सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट कितना कंप्लीट हुआ. कस्टमर कैन नॉट सी एनीथिंग. कस्टमर कब पिक्चर में आएगा? जब आपको उसको सॉफ्टवेयर फिर से डिलीवर करेंगे कि अभी सॉफ्टवेयर रेडी हो गया, आप इसको टेस्ट करके यूज करिए. सो आफ्टर 1 ईयर कस्टमर विल वंस अगेन come into know that okay, now the software is ready. That is a problem with waterfall model. Prototype model में क्या है? हर एक वर्जन को आप कस्टमर के पास लेकर जाते हैं और उसके पास इवेल्युएट कराते हैं बार बार repeatedly. So it may be the case that every 15 days you are meeting with the customer. Every 15 days you are showing the demo, asking for the changes. Then once again you are coming back, correcting it, once again creating a new version and showing it to the customer. Customer is continuously involved into development throughout the project. पूरे प्रोजेक्ट में वो इन्वॉल्व रहेगा. उसको देखने को मिलेगा उसका सॉफ्टवेयर कैसे बन रहा है. इट इज जस्ट लाइक वंस अगेन, अगर आपको बिल्डिंग आपका बंगलो बनाना है, आपने किसी कंपनी को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे दिया, आपने आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स दे दी, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बोलेगा आपको अभी आप 1 साल के बाद आओ, बंगलो बन जाएगा, तब हम आपको दिखाएंगे. दैट इज वाटरफॉल मॉडल, राइट. लेकिन प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल में क्या होगा? जब ग्राउंड लेवल वर्क होगा, आप बुलाएंगे, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर बुलाएगा, सिविल इंजीनियर्स बुलाएंगे एक्चुअल ओनर को कि आप आकर देखिए कि हमने ये बनाया है, इस तरह से आपका ग्राउंड फ्लोर होगा, इस तरह यहाँ पर लिविंग रूम होगा, यहाँ पर किचन होगा, सब सही है. अगर ये सब सही है तो हम आगे जाएंगे और कंस्ट्रक्ट करेंगे. कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन चेंज करना है तो आप अभी से बता दो, हम अभी कर लेंगे, क्योंकि बाद में वो चेंज करना पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो कस्टमर को भी पता चलेगा कि हाँ उसका बंगलो कैसे बन रहा है, राइट, और वो चेंजेस सजेस्ट कर पाए. वाटरफॉल मॉडल में कस्टमर इज नॉट देयर आफ्टर द रिक्वायरमेंट फेज. कस्टमर को कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता है कि क्या सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है. यस, यू कैन गो. यस, right? So that is the advantage of this model. Customer is continuously involved. Customer feels happy because उसको देखने को मिल रहा है कि उसका सॉफ्टवेयर कैसे डेवलप हो रहा है. वो चेंजेस अगर चाहिए उसको तो वो सजेस्ट कर पाएगा. ये मॉडल में वो पॉसिबल है. वाटरफॉल मॉडल में वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि कस्टमर की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो डेवलपर समझ नहीं पाते. जीएसटी कैलकुलेशन कैसे होता है, डेवलपर डजंट नो, तो कस्टमर एक्सप्लेन करेगा उसको कि जीएसटी इस तरह से कैलकुलेट करना है. तो डेवलपर लर्न्स फ्रॉम कस्टमर. वो कब पॉसिबल होगा, जब आप कस्टमर के साथ कम्युनिकेशन में है. इफ यू आर नॉट इन कम्युनिकेशन विद द कस्टमर, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू लर्न दैट. So that is another advantage of this model. So the final product will be more accurate क्योंकि बार बार कस्टमर ने चेक किया है. हर एक वर्जन में कस्टमर ने उसको चेक किया है. So the final product will be more accurate as compared to the final product that has been prepared in waterfall model or V-shape model. अगर इन बिटवीन कस्टमर की अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिक्वायरमेंट्स आ जाती है, से फॉर एग्जांपल ऐसा सोचो कि हम कस्टमर के लिए एक बंगलो बना रहे हैं, हमने उसकी सारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स ले ली. तब उसने बोला था कि मुझे इस तरह के स्टेयर्स चाहिए ग्राउंड फ्लोर टू फर्स्ट फ्लोर टू सेकंड फ्लोर जाने के लिए. आपने वो रिक्वायरमेंट समझ के डिजाइनिंग कोडिंग कर दिया, राइट. आपका वो वर्क डेवलपमेंट वर्क चल रहा है, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क चल रहा है, और अचानक से कस्टमर आकर बोलता है कि नहीं मुझे अभी स्टेयर्स नहीं चाहिए, मुझे लिफ्ट चाहिए. आपने पूरी बिल्डिंग का डिजाइन ऐसे किया है कि वहां पर लिफ्ट रखने की जगह ही नहीं है. सो अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिक्वायरमेंट अगर कस्टमर की आ गई तो वाटरफॉल मॉडल में आप एकोमोडेट नहीं कर पाओगे, क्योंकि आपने कस्टमर के साथ एक बार कम्युनिकेट करके सारे रिक्वायरमेंट ले लिया, फिर कस्टमर को फ्री कर दिया. वो आपके कंटिन्यूअस डेवलपमेंट में इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, तो उसकी अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिक्वायरमेंट को आप फुलफिल नहीं कर पाओगे. लेकिन प्रोटोटाइप मॉडल है तो वो कंटिन्यूअसली इन्वॉल्व है, हर एक वर्जन में वो इन्वॉल्व है. तो कभी भी ऐसी अनएक्सपेक्टेड रिक्वायरमेंट आएगी, आप उसको इजीली एकोमोडेट कर पाओगे. So that is also an advantage of this model. And it allows for flexible design and development. Your design and developments are very flexible. वो पहले से fixed, rigid नहीं हो जाते हैं, जो केस waterfall model में. Right. So these are the advantages of this model. Weaknesses. कभी-कभी क्या होता है, आप कोड एंड फिक्स सिनारियो में फंस जाते हैं. प्रोग्राम लिखो करेक्ट करो, प्रोग्राम लिखो करेक्ट करो. उसका जो एल्गोरिदम फ्लो चार्ट आपने बनाया होगा वो साइड पर कभी रह जाएगा. राइट. सो क्वालिटी में सफर. आपने पहले कुछ नॉर्मलाइजेशन करके डेटाबेस बनाया होगा, लेकिन कस्टमर ने चेंजेस किया तो आप बहुत क्विकली उसको मॉडिफाई करने में एक्चुअल डेटाबेस नॉर्मलाइजेशन भूल गए. तो जो आपने 3NF तक नॉर्मलाइज किया था, डेटाबेस मॉडिफाई करते करते 2NF या 1NF में पहुंच गया. तो द क्वालिटी विल सफर if you are not doing it properly. So at every version you have to make sure that quality is not compromised. अगर वो हर एक वर्जन में आप केयर नहीं करोगे, क्वालिटी कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गया तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. So that is a weakness. तो मैंने जैसे बताया कि आपको क्विक नए वर्जन बनाने हैं, तो क्वालिटी पे फोकस नहीं कर पाते हैं. सो द कोड दैट यू मे राइट मे बी डर्टी कोड. वो जल्दी इजीली रीडेबल नहीं होगा, इजीली मॉडिफाइबल नहीं होगा, इजीली टेस्टेबल नहीं होगा. इट मे बी क्विक एंड डर्टी काइंड ऑफ सॉल्यूशन. यू हैव टू मेक श्योर इट शुड नॉट एंड अप दिस वे, अदरवाइज योर एफर्ट्स विल बी वेस्टेड, क्योंकि उसको आपको फिर से पूरा लिखना पड़ेगा. राइट. So these are the weaknesses of prototyping model. So with this we shall stop here. We shall continue our lecture at 2 o'clock once again. with remaining 2 models, right? तो आज हमने 3 मॉडल्स, फिर एक मॉडल रिवाइज करके 2 मॉडल और स्टडी किए हैं. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में रिमेनिंग 2 मॉडल्स को स्टडी करेंगे और फिर ये टॉपिक कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. So those who are online, do you have any doubts, any queries? Hello. Okay, fine. So we'll end our session here. You will have a lecture from Pretty Ma'am now. थोड़ी देर के बाद प्रीति मैम का लेक्चर होगा. उसके बाद फिर 2:30 को जो टाइमिंग पे मेरा लेक्चर है, we shall continue our lecture at that time. Fine. So you can leave the class now.